Mark, I want to read you an email today, and I want everyone listening to notice how it lands.
Okay, read it.
Hi, James. With all due respect, as per my last email, the deadline was Friday. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe we agreed on this in the meeting. Just to be clear, I need this by end of day. Thanks in advance.
Wow.
Wow.
Wow. Let me react like a native speaker for a second, because that email is not polite. It is not professional. That email is a small verbal punch wrapped in phrases that sound formal to non-native ears. To a native English speaker, that email reads as barely controlled fury. And James, whoever he is, just got publicly humiliated.
And here is what almost no advanced English resource teaches. There is a very specific category of English phrases that non-native learners believe are polite, formal, professional, safe, and native speakers use those exact same phrases when they are angry, when they are attacking, when they are drawing a line under someone's behavior.
And the gap between what learners think they are signaling and what native speakers actually hear is enormous, which means right now, all over the world, advanced learners are accidentally attacking their bosses, colleagues, and clients every day, believing they are being polished, when in reality, they are being read as hostile.
And today, we are going to fix that. We're going to walk through the top 5 polite-sounding phrases that native speakers actually use as weapons. We're going to explain the coded aggression concept behind them. We're going to give you the safer alternatives that actually communicate what you meant. So the next time you write an email, you know exactly what you are firing off.
Welcome to Side by Side English Podcasts. I'm Mark.
I'm Sophie. Today is for the advanced learner who has been sprinkling, with all due respect and, as per my last email, into their professional English for years and has no idea how those phrases are actually landing. We are going to give you the honest translation.
Stay with us. We have the coded aggression concept, the top 5 phrases fully deconstructed, the safer alternatives, a role play showing the difference in real time, and a word tour with 6 fresh B2 to C1 words.
Quick comment question before we begin. Be honest. Have you used "with all due respect" in a work email in the last month? Drop a yes or no.
Okay, let's decode the fake polite. So, Sophie, let's start with the concept. What is coded aggression?
Coded aggression is a form of hostility that is disguised as politeness. The words themselves are formal, neutral, sometimes even flattering on the surface. But the tone, the context, and the shared cultural understanding among native speakers turn them into weapons. Everyone in the conversation knows what is happening, except, sometimes, the non-native speaker who deployed the phrase in complete innocence.
And these phrases exist because native English speakers, especially in professional and British-influenced business cultures, developed a specific style of expressing anger without technically breaking the rules of politeness. You can attack someone without ever raising your voice, without ever saying anything technically rude, but everyone knows, everyone feels it, because the code is shared.
And when a non-native speaker uses one of these phrases without knowing the code, they are essentially firing a loaded weapon while thinking it is a decorative accessory. And the damage to their professional relationships can be significant, slowly over months. Colleagues get colder, managers get shorter, clients get more distant, and the learner has no idea why.
Let's actually walk through the top 5, because I think when learners hear each one deconstructed, they are going to feel some pain of recognition. And that is fine, because after today, they will finally know.
Yes. Phrase 1. With all due respect.
This one is the classic. Learners believe it is a way of showing respect before disagreeing, softening the disagreement with formality. And on paper, that's what the phrase looks like.
In reality, with all due respect, is one of the strongest signals of disagreement and frustration in modern professional English. When a native speaker says it or writes it, everyone in the conversation braces themselves, because it almost always means, I think what you just said is wrong, and I'm about to say so with barely disguised annoyance.
The phrase carries an unspoken second half, with all due respect, followed silently by which is very little. That's how native ears hear it, and using it in a casual disagreement is like bringing a formal legal weapon to a friendly chat.
Phrase 2. as per my last email.
Learners believe this is a professional way of referencing previous correspondence, formal, efficient, business appropriate.
In reality, as per my last email means I already told you this and you either did not read my email or ignored it, and now I'm publicly noting your failure to. It's a small, sharp reprimand delivered with the exact tone of a school teacher.
And the reason it lands so hard is that the phrase itself is a public flag. It draws attention to the previous email, which draws attention to the receiver's failure to act on that email, which puts them in a defensive position, in a professional environment where the tone was previously neutral.
Phrase 3. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Learners believe this is a humble way of proposing something, a soft opening, a way of acknowledging that they might not have the full picture.
In reality, correct me if I'm wrong is almost always followed by something the speaker is 100% sure they are right about. It functions as an aggressive setup for a public correction of the other person, not a genuine invitation to be corrected. The listener knows immediately that what follows will be a factual claim used to challenge them.
So when a learner uses this phrase intending to sound humble, they are actually signaling, I'm about to make a point that I already know is correct, and I'm framing it as humility to make my correction harder to argue with.
Phrase 4. Just to be clear.
Learners often deploy this thinking it means, let me clarify my meaning, or let me make sure we understand each other.
In reality, just to be clear is native speaker code for you have been unclear or wrong up to this point, and I am now going to restate the correct version so that everyone knows. It reframes the previous conversation as confused, with the speaker positioning themselves as the one bringing clarity to the confusion, which subtly attacks whoever was speaking before.
And the word just makes it worse, not better. Just adds a tone of impatience, as if the speaker has been holding back and can no longer resist the need to explain what should have been obvious.
Phrase 5. Not sure if you saw my previous message.
Learners use this thinking it's a gentle nudge, a polite reminder that a message might have gotten buried.
In reality, not sure if you saw my previous message is native speaker code for I know you saw it, you are ignoring me, and I am putting on record that you are ignoring me. Native speakers know the receiver saw the message. The phrase is a formal complaint dressed up as a doubt.
And in professional environments, this phrase is often the last message before the sender escalates, either to their manager, to HR, or to a much sharper follow-up email. So when native speakers see it in their inbox, they know a small storm is arriving.
5 phrases, all commonly used by advanced learners in complete innocence, all received by native speakers as veiled attacks. And once a learner sees this, they cannot unsee it. They start to notice these phrases everywhere, in movies, in emails, and they start to catch themselves before deploying them.
Which brings us to the alternatives, because the intention behind these phrases is usually legitimate. The learner wants to disagree or reference a previous email or make a factual point or clarify a misunderstanding or follow up. These are normal professional needs. They just deserve better tools than the loaded ones we just listed.
Let's give the audience 5 safer alternatives, one for each phrase.
Alternative 1. Instead of with all due respect, say, I see it a bit differently, or I want to offer a different angle. These achieve the same goal, gentle disagreement, without carrying the weaponized subtext.
Alternative 2. Instead of as per my last email, say, circling back on my earlier note, or wanted to bring this back up. These reference the previous email without turning it into a public flag of the other person's failure.
Alternative 3. Instead of correct me if I'm wrong, say, I might be missing something here, but, or my understanding is. These signal genuine openness instead of the false humility of the coded version.
Alternative 4. Instead of just to be clear, say, one thing I want to add, or to build on that. These allow you to make your point without recasting the previous conversation as confused.
Alternative 5. Instead of not sure if you saw my previous message, say, wanted to follow up on this when you have a moment, or know things get busy, just flagging this. These acknowledge that responses take time without the accusatory undertone.
5 swaps, and every one of them lets you achieve the professional goal you actually wanted, without accidentally attacking anyone. The intent stays intact, the weapon disappears.
Okay, let's do a role play. Sophie, set the scene? Actually, I'll set it. Same speaker, same situation.
First, deploying the coded aggression phrases in innocent good faith, then using the alternatives.
Okay, the situation is a project manager is following up with a colleague who has not delivered a report they had promised.
Version 1. Coded aggression without knowing it.
Hi, Joms. Not sure if you saw my previous message, but as per my last email, the report was due Wednesday. With all due respect, this is holding up the entire team. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe we agreed on this deadline in the last meeting. Just to be clear, I need this today. Thanks in advance.
And let me count what just happened. 5 weaponized phrases in one short message. To native English ears, that email reads as a full attack. James, receiving that message, will feel publicly reprimanded, defensive, angry. He will probably reply with equally coded phrases of his own, and a small professional war has begun that the sender did not intend to start.
Version 2. Same message, same information, but with the safer alternatives. Hi, James. Wanted to follow up on this when you have a moment. My understanding is that the report was due Wednesday. Know things get busy, but this one is holding the team. Could you let me know when you can get it over? Thanks.
And listen to the difference. The information is the same. The urgency is preserved. The professional standards are held, but the veiled aggression is gone. James, receiving this version, will feel gently pressed, not attacked. He will probably reply with an apology and a delivery time instead of with a defensive countermessage, and the professional relationship stays intact.
Same sender, same situation, same underlying needs. 2 completely different professional relationships created by the difference between coded aggression and genuine diplomacy.
Word tour?
Word tour. First word, veiled. Veiled means hidden or partially covered, especially when the hidden thing is meant to be noticed anyway. When we describe hostility as veiled, we mean it is technically covered by politeness, but the hostility is still visible to anyone who knows what they are looking at.
For example, the 5 phrases we discussed today are examples of veiled hostility, where the anger is covered by formal language but still lands. Repeat, veiled.
Veiled.
Next, to weaponize. Weaponize means to turn something ordinary into a weapon. In modern English, this word is often used metaphorically to describe how neutral tools or phrases get used to attack people.
For example, native speakers have weaponized certain polite phrases so completely that non-natives often deploy them without knowing they are firing at someone. Repeat, weaponize.
Weaponize. Next, subtext. Subtext is the meaning that runs underneath the surface meaning of what is being said. Every conversation has surface text and subtext, and in professional English, the subtext is often more important than the text.
For example, the problem with these phrases is not their text, it is their subtext, which native speakers hear clearly and non-natives often miss. Repeat, subtext.
Subtext. Next, backhanded. Backhanded describes something that appears positive or polite on the surface, but is actually critical or hostile underneath. A backhanded compliment is a famous example, and backhanded politeness is exactly what these phrases produce.
For example, with all due respect is one of the most backhanded phrases in modern professional English because it sounds respectful while doing the opposite. Repeat, backhanded.
Backhanded. Next, to undermine. Undermine means to weaken something quietly from below so that the weakening is not immediately obvious. Coded aggression phrases undermine relationships slowly, one email at a time, without the sender ever realizing they are causing damage.
For example, using veiled aggression in daily emails will undermine your professional relationships steadily, even though no single message would seem harmful. Repeat, undermine.
Undermine. And finally, passive-aggressive. Passive-aggressive describes behavior that expresses anger indirectly through hidden signals rather than direct confrontation. It's one of the most important concepts in modern professional communication, and it is essentially what these 5 phrases are.
For example, learning to recognize passive-aggressive phrases in English is essential for anyone working in a professional environment with native speakers. Repeat, passive-aggressive.
Passive-aggressive.
6 words today: veiled, weaponize, subtext, backhanded, undermine, and passive-aggressive. Every one of them is a real, useful, modern English word that captures something specific about how communication actually works in native professional settings.
Sophie, one final takeaway.
That the reason so many advanced learners keep hitting invisible resistance in their professional English is because they have been unknowingly deploying weaponized phrases while believing they were being polite, and every deployment has been quietly damaging their relationships without them ever knowing what was happening.
And the fix is not to become less professional. The fix is to swap out the loaded phrases for the safer alternatives, which achieve the same professional goals without the passive-aggressive subtext. And the result over months is that your relationships at work start to improve. Emails come back warmer, meetings feel friendlier, colleagues become more responsive because you are no longer accidentally attacking them.
Small challenge before we go. For the next 7 days, scan every professional English email you write before you send it. Look for any of the 5 phrases we discussed, and if you find one, swap it for the safer alternative. Just 5 phrases to watch for. That's it.
And notice what happens. Notice how many times per week these phrases were about to leave your keyboard. Notice how the replacement versions feel just as professional. Notice if your colleagues start to reply faster or warmer or with less defensiveness.
Drop a comment after the week. Tell us how many swaps you made. Tell us which phrase you had been using most. We want to hear the honest reflections.
Because the moment a learner realizes that their polite phrases have been landing as attacks and updates them, the entire tone of their professional communication shifts, not slowly, immediately. And the invisible resistance they had been feeling starts to disappear.
I'm Sophie.
I'm Mark.
Thanks for being here. Thanks for being willing to check whether you have been accidentally attacking your colleagues.
Swap the loaded phrases. Land warmer. We'll see you in the next one.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.